Today we will learn some data structure in our language. Why we need to understand these data structures, vector and matrix? Because we will analyze data using combinational plots further. Means in the last class I was discussing about Irish dataset. And now I'm going to show some combinational plot for better data analysis. But before that, we have to understand the concept of vector and matrix in R. So now the question is, what is vector? Vector is a simplest type of data structure in R. That is, if I write C, say 1, 3, 5, I can consider this as vector data structure. Now the question is why? Vector data structure contains the members of similar types. All members in this vector are of type integer. And the second point you have to remember that the content of the vector are also known as components. So what is the definition of a vector? We can say that vector is a data structure in our language which contains components of similar types. But now there is one question. What do you mean by this C function? Means whenever I write this C function for defining vector, you may think that C function is used to create a vector. But this is not correct because C stands for concatenate, and this C function is used to combine the vectors. So whenever we are writing some vectors in a sequence, then C function is used to combine them. You have two vectors. Say the first vector is containing some name such as A, B and X. So this is say first vector. Now after writing the components and after combining them with C function, you can store this vector. So for storing vector, I am using this arrow symbol into some other variable. Also, I can store the second vector which is also containing say Z, Y and T. We can also write these vectors in sequence and combine them, and we can store it to another variable, say f1. So here you can understand that C function is only responsible for combining the vector components. That's it. And we can define one vector component, then we have to combine them, and later on we have to store them in a variable. Now after storing the vector, what we can do? We can do one thing. We can again concatenate these two variables. Means after concatenating individual vector components by using C function, we can further concatenate these two vectors together. Say I am taking one third variable where I am just writing combination of these two, f and f1. So as a result, it will give us the output as a, B, X, Z, Y, T. All the vector components will be combined. But here you have to understand one more functionality of this C function. What is that? Here you can understand that vectors are maintaining the order. Means whenever you are concatenating these two variables and whenever you are going to display them, each and every components are in order. Now we have different kinds of vectors, such as if I write print A, B, C within double quotes. So this kind of vectors are known as atomic vectors of type character. So you have to understand, whenever we have single component inside a vector, it is known as atomic vector, and character data types are written in double quotes. So from this example, you can understand that these are the vectors of type character. However, these are not the atomic vector because we have more than one component in this vector. Again, if I write print 12.5, this is also an atomic vector, but the type of this vector is double. So if I use decimals 12.5, in that case it will be treated as double data type in R. And also if I write print true, in that case it is also an atomic vector, but type of this atomic vector is logical. So you have to understand, whenever I am defining logical vector and as well as double vector, we don't have to use any double quotes. So these are the basic considerations of the vector. But why these vectors are important? These vectors are important to perform indexing in R. Indexing means selecting a subset of the elements in order to use them for further data analysis. So whenever we have a set of elements, we can capture the subset of the elements using this indexing. And to capture the subset of a specific element set, we have to understand this vector and matrix data structure in R. In the previous class, I have discussed about subsetting. So in that subsetting also, I have used some of the concept of vectors. So for that reason, I am explaining it in more details. Now, to understand vectors, we have to understand few cases. Case 1. Say I have one vector ABC. From this declaration, you know that each and every component is of type character. And now I am combining them. So this is my vector definition, and we are combining each and every component of the vector. And now if I write 1 here within square bracket, then what does it mean? It means it will extract the element from the vector by fetching the first element of the vector. Now similarly, if I use, instead of 1, if I use 2 here, at this point of time it will fetch the second component of the vector. Now here you have to remember one point. Whenever I am defining one vector, the index starts from 1 in our language. However, we have many language where index will start from 0. But for R, you have to remember this point, that always the index starts from 1. So in this case number 1, I'm just going to define, if you want to fetch some specific component from some specific location, then the syntax is first define the vector, then combine the vector, and then write the specific location from which you want to fetch the value. Similarly, you can find out the length of the vector. Means if I use length function and then if I write C 1 is to 3. Then it will give you the length. But here we have to understand what is the meaning of this syntax. It is quite difficult to understand. Now let me write this code first. See, whenever I'm writing this code and try to execute it, see the output. It is fetching the first element from the vector. And if I change this value to 2, then it will fetch the second element of the vector. So from this, the note is indices in R starts from 1 for the first item. Now consider the second syntax. See, whenever I'm writing the length function and within the length function, I'm combining and writing some value 1 is to 3. Here, the meaning of this line is the length of this vector is 3. This is the output. Why it is 3? Because we have 3 components in the vector. However, we can also results in missing values sometimes while accessing the vector. But now we have to understand what is the reason. Consider this syntax. Now we know that it means the length of the vector means 1 is to 3 and 9 means I am going to fetch the ninth index of this vector. But see, in this vector the length is 3. Ninth location does not exist. So in that case, we will get a missing value if we try to index outside the length of the vector. So 9 does not exist as an index in this vector. So as a result, if we try to execute it, so I will get the output as NA because NA stands for missing value, means no value exists in the location 9. This is some of the consideration under case 1 for vector. Now we have some more consideration. Consider a situation where you want to extract the last element of the vector. But here the problem is, say the length of the vector is unknown. It may happen in real life. So now consider this situation where I need the last element of the vector. However, the length of the vector is unknown to me. So I can embed the length function within the square bracket. Means, say I will take one variable and inside that variable I will write some length of the vector and afterwards I will embed the length function inside the square bracket. Now we have to understand what is the meaning of this line. Let me execute this code first. See, whenever I am executing this code, what is the output? Here output is 12. Means a vector of length 12 is created and whenever I am passing the value length function as a value in the square bracket, then it is known as embedded length function. So in that case, we can extract the last element of the vector. So here the last element of the vector is 12. Now you may ask me one question, that how could you understand that this is the last element of the vector? So now a is the variable which is holding the vector. So if I print A, let's see what is the output. So if I print A, I can find, so 4 is to 12 means it is giving value 4, 5, 6, 7 up to 12. So this is how we can generate a vector of specific length. So if I write 3 is to 12, so it will generate the numbers from 3 to 12. Embedding a length function inside a particular square bracket means I want to fetch the specific element. So here whenever I write this code, as a result it gives me the output as an last element. So this syntax is used to fetch the last element of the vector. Now consider this syntax. We have discussed that whenever we write length function within square bracket, it means it will help us to fetch some value. In the previous case, it was fetching the last element of the vector. Now here I have written -1 along with this. So basically here I want to extract second to last element of the vector. Means here the last element is 12, -1 means I want to access the second to the last element. So that is 11. So this is how we can access a proper index of a specific vector of unknown length. However, it is also possible to extract multiple elements from a vector. So if I write simply A1 is to 12. Now see what is the output. So in that case, see here, it is fetching the vector elements from 1 to 12. So here the first element is 4 and the last element is 12. But we have some missing values over here because these are the values that exist out of the index. So now if I change this index value to say 10, then now let's see what is the output. So it is displaying the element or component of the vector from 4 to 12. So I have discussed that whenever I am printing something which will have out of index access, then it will print all the components as it is and the rest of the part will be embedded with the missing value because this values does not exist in the vector. Now let's talk about case number 2. In this second approach, we have to index by using some specific syntax, such as if I write some variable and inside the variable say I am storing the specific vector, and we know that we have to combine the vector also. However, each vector element, say 1, 2, and 3, can be assigned names, such as instead of writing 1, 2, 3 inside the vector separated by comma, here we can assign the names of this specific components. The name of the first component is assigned to x and then y and then z. So here now we have to understand if we print this variable, then what will be the output. Let's check it. See, in this case, it is prominent that 1 is assigned to x, so 1 is displayed under x, then 2 is displayed under y, and 4 is displayed under z. This is a second approach to indexing. So this kind of indexing is very, very important in data analysis because here each element has a value and they have the name also. Now we have the case 3. In case 3, I have discussed that we may have logical values. Means here I will talk about logical indexing in vectors. So basically logical indexing means, say here we have to write some specific value in terms of true false. Means whenever I write a specific vector and inside that if I write false, true, false, it means this is a vector where the components of the vector are of type logical. So now here how we can access or how we can index this vectors properly. So in that case, we will use some specific concept. Say I have one vector like, and say I am storing this vector after combining it into a variable s. Now to retrieve the second and the fourth element from this variable s, then what we can do? So at this point of time, we can define a logical vector. So try to understand this point. What is the use of logical vector here? Because this is not a logical vector. This is a simple vector which is containing character values, means character components. Now here my intention is to access the component number 2 and the component number 4. In order to perform this kind of indexing, we will use one logical vector. Now how I will define the logical vector here? Say I'm taking one variable L, and here I am defining the logical vector as false because I don't want to access this component. Then I want to access this component. So here I am just writing true, and then I don't want to access the third component, so I will write false. Then I want to access the fourth component, I will write true, and then I don't want to access the last element, so I will write it as false. Now if I write S of L, then let's see what will be the output. So this is the vector that I was defining. So after defining the vector which is containing character components, I'm just printing it. So this is the output. The output is clearly visible. Now here my intention is to access second and the fourth element. For that purpose, I will define one logical vector. So how to define that logical vector? I have explained that I have to write L is equal to, and then we have to write the logical vector just as false, true, false, true and false. But here I'm giving you one simple trick, means whenever I want to access some specific location from a specific vector using logical vectors, then instead of defining a vector of type logical and storing it into some variable L, I will use this syntax where I have created the logical vectors and I am going to access the index of this vector s. At this point of time, now let's see if I want to execute this, what will be the output. See, it is giving me the second element and the fourth element. So try to understand, writing code is simple, but writing optimized code is not simple, because instead of doing this syntax, if you explicitly define another logical vector just like this, so it is correct. And then at this point of time, you want to access the index value of s. So you have to write s of L. Means this logical vector will help us to access the index value of s. So at this point of time, if you execute this code, it will give you the same result. It will give you the second and the fourth element. However, whenever you are using this code, you are accommodating one extra variable, which is a wastage of memory space. So in order to avoid these two lines, I am just merging these two lines into one line. So try to understand. So this is the optimized code for accessing second and fourth element of a specific vector. Now we have to understand the concept of matrix. A matrix is a two-dimensional vector. So up to this, what we have discussed, it was 1D vector. But whenever I'm talking about matrix data structure in our language, it is a 2D vector. So here you have to understand how to define this matrix. So for defining a matrix, you have to write matrix function and then you have to provide the dimension. Now what is the meaning of this line? I will explain it later on. Number of rows say 2, number of columns equal to 5. And now after defining this matrix function, you can store it in a variable and then you can print the variable. Then the matrix or the created matrix will be visible. Now, what is the meaning of this syntax? Here, we are creating a matrix with 2 rows and 5 columns. Now, let me show the syntax first. See, whenever I am executing this created matrix, it is showing that we have 2 rows and we have 5 columns. But see one thing, here whenever they are displaying the column, they are writing square bracket comma 1, square bracket comma 2. So try to understand, whenever you find that some square bracket is written and then you have 2 dimension and the first dimension is missing, the second dimension is provided, then you can understand that it is a 2D vector, means it is a matrix. This is the first point. Second, to determine or to show the columns, so you can omit the first dimension. So omitting first dimension means we are representing the column. So square bracket comma 5 means I'm talking about fifth column. Now see here. Again, for a row, we have the first dimension provided 1 comma and then we have blank within the square bracket. So again, we will understand that it is a matrix and the first dimension is given means it is mentioning the row, not the column. So here my point is, within square bracket, writing the second dimension means I am talking about column. Which column? The second column. And writing the first dimension and omitting the second dimension means here I am talking about row. Which row? The second row. So now what is the meaning of 1 is to 10? Now it is clear that it is showing value from 1 to 10. It is similar like this syntax. I have used this syntax for a vector that is 4 is to 12. In that case also it will provide you the value from 4 to 12. So here try to understand, for the matrix function, whatever you write, this is the starting number and this is the end number. 1 to 10. They will be the component of the matrix. And this is the dimension of the row and this is the dimension of the column. So this is how you could create one 2D vector which is also known as matrix. So now for matrix also you can determine the dimension of the matrix. Means if you use dim function and then if you write the matrix variable name, means mat is the variable which is holding the matrix. So at this point of time you can find out the dimension of the matrix. It is written that 2 5 means we have 2 row and 5 column. And also like vectors you can determine length of the matrix. So for that reason, you have to use the length function. So here the length is 10. So length means we have 10 components inside the matrix. So this is the very basic feature in R that we have to understand. Now, why we are learning this? Because we have to perform data analysis using Irish dataset. So today I don't have my Irish dataset here. To use them, I have to bring the Irish dataset in my current working directory. So I will fetch my Irish dataset. So how to fetch? Using these three dots, I will go to the specified location, and then the rule is after getting the dataset, I have to set this location as my current working directory. So now I have got the dataset. Now how to read the dataset? We know that we have to take one variable, say data, and then we have to write read.csv, and then within single quotes we have to write the file name. It is irish.csv. So this is how we can import our dataset. So now I have my Irish dataset in this location. So what I'm going to do, I want to show you one combinational plot. First, see the plot. So this is the syntax of the combinational plot. Let's see what is the output. So this kind of analysis we will get from a combinational plot. Now I want to tell you one point. So by visualizing this plot, we can understand that this is a box plot. Now first we have to understand what is the basic difference between the simple box plot and the combinational box plot. So now let's take one recap. So in the previous class, I have discussed about this syntax. So in this case, I am getting a single box plot. And here, whenever I am using this combinational plot, I am getting three different box plot for three different Irish species. Means versicolor analysis is provided, Setosa analysis is also provided, and Virginica analysis is also provided. And we know that box plots are very important for statistical analysis, because from this we can find the quartiles, median, and the concept of outlier also. But the advantage of combinational plot is here we can find at a time all the box plot analysis of different species available in my dataset. Now try to decode the meaning of this combinational plot. Now we know that what is the meaning of subset function. In the previous class, I have explained that subset means I am extracting some portion of the dataset. Why we need to extract this? Because in my dataset data, we have the combination of Setosa, versicolor and virginica under this variety column. So here I am using subset function so that I can extract the versicolor subset, Setosa subset and Virginica subset. So for that reason I am using three subset function for getting three different species. And what is the syntax of the subset function? First we have to write the variable name in which we have our dataset. So data is the variable name, and I have explained that it is known as object in R, which is holding our data set, the CSV file. So here I am writing the data object which is holding our data set, and then we have to mention the column name by using which we are performing the subset function. So here try to understand, here the column name is variety. Why? Because in the data set we have the variety column under which we have the different classes or different species of this Irish flower. So for that reason the column name is variety. And what are the subset names? Clearly I have given this subset names, and you know that why it is written in double quotes, because under variety column we have character data types. So we know that character data types should be written within double quotes. And what is the meaning of double equal to? I have explained in the previous class. Here I am extracting each and individual subsets and storing into the three variable, that is Irish, Ver, Set and Virginica for VIR. So three variables are used to hold the three different species. So this is the first point. So after that, here it is written that per mf row. Now you have to understand what is the meaning of this line. Now C1 comma 3 you can understand. C function is a combination function. 1 comma 3 is the component of the vector I have discussed right now. Now we have to understand what is the meaning of this MF row and par. So whenever we want to create a multi-paneled plotting, see here our intention is to find the different plotting for three different species. So this is known as panel 1, panel 2 and panel 3. So this function will be used whenever we want to create multi-paneled plotting, something like this. And MF row itself is a vector and the length of this vector is 2. And where the first argument of this vector specifies the row or rows and the second argument of this vector specifies the column. So you find me writing mf row is equal to c1 comma 3. Now you could understand that the meaning of this 1 which is acting as a first argument, it is your row, and 3 means it is the column. So try to understand this. So this is the meaning of per. Per means we need multi-paneled plotting, something like this. And then we are using mf row, which is itself is a vector of length 2, and where it is using 1 comma 3 means 1 signifies the row and 3 signifies the column. So here see we have three panels. So this is the meaning of this line. Now we have to understand the meaning of this line. MAR C6, 3, 2, 1. We know that 6, 3, 2, 1 are the components of type integer inside the vector which is combined with the C function. But this MAR means it is a numeric vector of length 4. So that's why we have four elements or four components. MF row is the vector of size 2. So that's why we have two elements or two components. And MAR stands for margin. It is used to fix the margin size in the order, that is, first it will fix the bottom, then left, then top, and then the right. And from where should I get this value? Say these values I have written arbitrarily to get a better visualization, but you have to understand the default value is 5.1, 4.1, 4.1 and 2.1. Now you will understand what is the meaning of 6321. 6 means the margin of bottom is 6, margin of left is 3, margin of top is 2 and margin of right is 1. So this is a trial and error method, but you have to understand one point, that whenever we write par and then whenever we write mar means we want to fix up the margin. So in that case, whatever the value of the vector we will pass, here we will have the four components because length of this mar vector is 4. But what values we should put, it depends on the programmer. So here I am using two vectors, mf row and mar. Mf row for plotting the multi-panel and mar vector I am using to adjust the margin values. And now come to this point. What is the meaning of box plot function? We know that. But here try to understand. I have written that Irish var. What is the meaning of this? So this is the variable in which I have stored my first variety, versicolor. So I have mentioned the variable name. Then I have used the square bracket. You know that. What is the meaning of square bracket? Means I am going to use one matrix. Here the first dimension is missing. We are writing the second dimension, means we are interested in the column, and 1 is to 4, 1 is to 10 means the component values. Here Irish var, Irish set and Irish VIR, they are the variables which is holding the different species, and these are the matrix dimensions that I am mentioning. And now what is the meaning of main? Here meaning of the main means using main you can fix up the name of your plots, and then we have to set up the y limit. Y lim means y limit. So here my y limit is 0 to 8. It is also arbitrarily defined. This value you can change according to your choice. I can fix up this x limit something else. See the plot. See, some of the box plots are not visible. So now if I change the value to 8, then we will get the better visibility of the box plot. So depending on your plot, you can change this value from 8 to 9 or 6, anything else. And I have already discussed what is the meaning of las. Las is used to maintain the names which is provided in the x-axis. So for this kind of combinational plot, you have to remember, first we have to read the data and store the data in an object, and then we will define three variables in which we will apply the subset function so that these variables could hold the different variety or species as a subset, and then we will create the number of panels, and then we will set up the margin values, and then we will apply the box plot on the individual species. So instead of writing this kind of box plot, it is better to have this kind of combinational plot. Why? Because it will give us the better visualization. So this is your combinational plot. Now you have to understand, in combinational plot we have used the concept of vectors and we have used the concept of matrix also. So that's why this two data structure in R is very important.